Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to my booth. I'm Jay. Today's sample comes to us all the way from down under. It's Kyle Walmsley, everybody. Kyle is curious about the roles and suitability and quality of his voice, particularly in the context of an Aussie looking potentially for some work on the U.S. side of things. So we'll give it a listen and see what we can come up with. Before we do, however, hey, you all know the drill. There are some buttons down there. I'd appreciate it if you took a second to click them. No sweat. And if you would like me to review audio just like this, what we're about to do, I don't know what my finger's doing, but there's a form. It's in the description of the video. Fill it out, send me something, and we'll do this again sometime, shall we? Kyle, what you got?
Driving with peace of mind is guaranteed with Budget Direct. Why settle for less when you can get premium coverage at prices that won't break the bank?
Already really positive, forward-leaning. You can hear the smile in your voice, which is always lovely.
Maximum protection at minimum cost. We let you drive with confidence while saving your hard-earned dollars. Drive smart with Budget Direct.
Yeah, it's a great start. Really positive. It seems like representative of you. You seem like a positive person, generally. So I dig. Let's keep listening.
Oh my God, honey. Today was so rough. Just before lunch, this headache kicked in and I nearly bombed my presentation. If you hadn't left a pack of Nurofen Advance in the glove box, I don't think I could have continued my day.
I say this all the time with demos and whatever samples you guys send in. This is a great example of what I like to think of as the sort of showing two sides of yourself, two sides of the same coin. And the first sample being representative of you, just sort of like your pocket, the thing that you know you can do with the drop of a hat. And the next one being a shift of gears. So if in this case, the positive forward-leaning one is A, and this, oh man, my head was just so, is B. Already we've got, so Kyle can pull off the sort of commercial positive reads and he nails it. And then he's got some acting chops. He can walk into a room and be like, oh man, my brain was just like this. But you know what? That really saved my butt. And both are ads and they both show different sides of you. And I always like it when people start off their demos that way. Let's keep going.
With Nurofen Advance, Bali beckons. Discover paradise in every sunrise, from pristine beaches to vibrant culture. Surf the waves, explore temples, and savor Bali's flavors.
Okay, I'm just going to zip through and listen to the next one to get a sort of more general vibe of everything. Go.
We dream of a world
Whoops.
Visit beautiful Bali. We dream of a world where compassion knows no boundaries, where we can all enjoy the beauty of life. At Care Australia, we're not just building a future, we're crafting moments of kindness that resonate far beyond.
Again, great shifting of gears, great A-B, great showing of sentimentality. So, Kyle, as far as the roles, suitability of your voice, quality of your voice, etc., I would say that you have a voice similar to mine in that you and I both have what I would call a broad or more general appeal, in that you and I, as is demonstrated by the range you've already shown here, in terms of the type of scripts you're reading and the quality of scripts you're reading. And as soon as we listen to the rest of the samples here, it becomes more evident. But you and I, with a general or broadly appealing voice, we can toss our lines into a bunch of different ponds, and it works. Like, that's one end of the spectrum of voiceover artists. General, broad appeal where we can do a lot of different stuff. But then on the other side of things, there are folks with really specific voices, really specific tones of voice, really specific quality of their voice. And the folks that come to mind for me right off the top of my head, I'm a Bob's Burgers fan. There's Kristen Schnall, who plays Louise on that show. And then, of course, H. John Benjamin. Really, all the characters on that show have pretty specific and, dare I say, iconic voices. And so those folks, Kristen Schnall and H. John Benjamin being good examples of it, they have a groove. They have a niche, a very specific niche that they just cruise in. And so that's sort of the spectrum when people ask, hey, can I make a go of it in VoiceOver? Is there a market for my voice? Blah, blah, blah. However you want to phrase it, I always say, yes, there's always room for your voice because I really believe it's true. And that sort of spectrum of vocal quality, broad appeal to specific appeal, doesn't say anything about anyone's career trajectory, about how their career will go, about how quickly it'll take off, how much work it'll take. There's really no metric there. This isn't a meritocracy. There's a lot of luck that comes into this whole thing, being in the right place all the time instead of the right place the right time. And so by having a generally appealing voice, it just means that you might find niches in a bunch of different markets simultaneously or at different times. So that's what I would say regarding that. Now, to talk specifically about some of your performance things, let's listen to this next sample.
Detective Lindsay Clark has found herself in the heart of Cedar Hollow to investigate a cold murder. Secrets are woven into the fabric of this town. She takes her first steps into the symphony of shadows to chase elusive truths that the town adamantly keeps cloaked.
So this is a great example of your read really works. It works. It works really well. You have a really clean read. All of your reads so far have been impeccably clean. And what I mean by that is they are highly manicured. There's a lot of, at least in my experience of them, the flow of your voice, the tone of your voice is just clean, and there's no breaks in that, really. And so this is somewhat to be taken with a grain of salt because it's a little bit of my own personal inclination, because what you're doing works and you pull it off really well, as is evidenced by this next sample.
In this module, we'll delve into mastering finance essentials. Get ready for a technical deep dive.
Like, you kill that. You absolutely kill that. You like e-learning, corporate narration type stuff like that. It's a huge market, and your voice and natural style of performance, dude. Yeah, like when I first listened to that, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm stoked to hear about Module 2, which is something I never say. But that sort of clean read, it soars in that context. And in the other contexts, namely my head, you saved my butt by putting that stuff in the glove box, and the detective read one, I'd be curious to hear what it would be like if you broke out of the restraints a little bit and you were a little bit looser with things. What I mean by that is right now your read with Detective Lindsay Clark is, Detective Lindsay Clark, she went down into this thing and there was this seedy underbelly, and it works. But I'm curious if we feel from your performance and your voice like you're down there in the trenches with her, like you're walking down the I just imagine like a noir set with like a rain-soaked street, trash in the gutters a little bit, someone's coughing off in the distance, of course, or something. And just that sort of ambiance, if you loosened up a bit and we saw cracks in the performance a bit. Not to be manufacturing those, but and the reason I say that is in the ebb and flow of conversation, storytelling, and human experience, there's a push and pull, an expansion and contraction of pacing, tone, quality, pitch of voice, just everything. And all of that is information in your performance that you can leverage to give us more information and ultimately bring us into your experience even more. And so I would just be curious about what it would sound like if you loosened up a bit. Let's listen to this last sample, which is an audiobook.
We can talk,
said the tiger lily.
when there's anybody worth talking to.
Alice was so astonished that she could not speak for a minute. She spoke again in a timid voice, almost in a whisper. And can all the flowers talk?
As well as you can,
said the tiger lily.
Yeah, you pull off audiobooks too. But yeah, my big note would be I'm just really curious what it would sound like if you weren't as clean, which would just be an artistic director's choice, more or less. But I feel like that would be a cool thing to try, perhaps. Then, as far as your question of Aussie to US, cross-pollination, looking for work in that regard, unfortunately, I don't have that experience, nor do I have any intimate colleagues that I can ping to ask about that. However, I have worked with some folks in audiobooks who are Australian to America. They live in LA currently. And what they expressed was they get pinged for jobs that are still Australian specific. So if a book is by an Australian author or it's set in Australia, something like that, then they get pinged for those types of audiobook jobs. And I think that that would probably be the case for most other gigs here in the US. If it's in the casting decision that they want that specific versus general type thing, they want the specifically Australian accent, then yeah, you're definitely in the running. I don't know what the market is for that currently, just because I don't receive those types of auditions, but it's definitely worth giving a shot. And I don't think that narrator specifically is not meeting ends meet or not thriving in any way. So take that with a grain of salt, but I do think that, you have a generally appealing voice, clearly have a lot of acting chops and performance chops, good at yada yada. So Godspeed, my friend. For the rest of you, I hope this was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, either Kyle or anybody else, hit me up below on my website. There's coaching on my website if you wish. And until the next one of these, be well, everybody, and I'll see you then. Toodles.